The mind games have started, guys, and as much as guys are treating this headline as, just another story trying to expose President William Ruto, let me tell you why this headline is a classic psyop meant to tilt, the scales in someone's favor. And we utajua tu ni nani, mimi sitataja majina. So if you are keen, recently kumekuwa na, a part of the church yenye imekuwa against, someone's leadership. Sitataja ni nani tena. And amekuwa akipokea stones and strays left, right, and center. And if you're active on X, then you've realized that of late kumekuwa na clips from that pastor from Mavueni akisanitize, our God-given leader. Akisema venye, nyinyi mnasemaga tu wako na shida ni gani? Nyinyi mnajua kutengeneza nchi na cost nini? First move ya kufanya nini? Ya kutaka kuregain the church, because anajua huyo saa hii ndio anafuatwa na our moms and our grandmothers and our sisters. Yani huyo huko ndio anaendea maji. So when this headline is posted, of course the reaction ni watu kujam. But what is intended na hii headline? Of course, number one, could divide the church against itself. Why? Their preachers will stand up to this. And if you're a preacher and you stand up against this, utaulizwa, kwani wewe kwani unaomba Mungu yupi? Kwa nini hutaki kanisa ijengwe State House? And mind you, it is very, very specific. Wanasema hawako sure kama ni taxpayers money inatumika. So story ya corruption nini kidogo hapo washaondokea. And then at number two, it's a classic, move from his 2022 playbook. He wants religion to be now a topic of discussion kwa story ya politics. Iko one of the agenda in 2027, kuonyesha venye I still care about the church. And wale ambao wataki kanisa ijengwe State House, watuambie kwani hao wapendi Mungu. But let me tell you why this is dangerous. This story ya church at State House. My question is, does President William Ruto then assume that hatutaikuwa na a Muslim president ever? And if we ever have a Muslim president, will they be allowed to construct a 50,000-seater mosque in State House? Juyende ameamua ni 8,000. There's no standard for, this capacity. So ameamua 8,000. What if we get a Muslim president? Na mimi najenga a 50,000-seater mosque in State House. Hatuwezi uliza swali. And number two, 1.2 billion shillings. You think about it. How many schools? How many hospitals? Anyway, the mind games imeanza, divide and conquer at its finest. Wanataka tupigane juu ya religion. Wengine waseme, story ya church ni mbaya. Wengine waseme wewe, nyinyi hamtaki church jengwe kwani nyinyi ni makafiri. And I want you to see how many clips that the preacher of Mavueni size na flood the internet zikidefendu jamaa. Ndio mjue saa zingine the media mimi hata sitaongea sana.
I am an evangelist. And many people sometimes wonder why I stand in raised places, sometimes on top of the car. Because when your orientation is an evangelist, you always behave like an evangelist, even when you are doing other things. And by the way, I have given a commitment that when I finish my tour of duty as president, I will go back to be an evangelist. Because that is my original calling.
This is for entertainment purposes only, so family. A couple of you are reaching out, telling me, have I seen that Nabi is building a 1.2 billion shilling church quietly in State House. What have I been telling you about altars? Yeah, a lot of you are like, yeah, it's true what you've been saying about altars. I know you guys think it's stories ajaba, but yo, what have I been telling you about altars? Him, the brotherhood, altar rejected him because that is Akina Uhunyeng, guys. And that's why he was trying to use, I'm even surprised he's doing our church. He was trying to use the altar of these guys, the Muslim guys. But a 1.2 billion shilling church, it should also worry us. Because that means if he's erecting a whole altar, he doesn't plan to leave.
Chapter 2 of the Constitution of Kenya on the Republic, Article 8, it says there shall be no said religion. Here we have the most holy, the most revered, The first person in Kenya to get into heaven on the day of judgment, William Samoei Ruto, building a church worth 1.2 billion Kenya shillings. Guys, do you know what 1.2 billion Kenya shillings can do? It can build 3 to 5 level 3, level 4 hospitals in the counties. It can be used to support informal settlements in areas of Kibra and other slums in improving aspect of drainage and sanitation. It can build 15 to 20 kilometers of road, the core pilot, in improving the access of farmers to take their products to the market. Guys, the signal is very clear. William Ruto is here to stay. And he is here to use that 8,000 capacity church to live stream and campaign for his 2027 bid live from State House. All the people who believe in fake evangelism will have nothing else but just to attend that church. I can't lie to you. People will be invited. Lunch will be served. Mchele itasaviwa, nyama itasaviwa. I cannot lie to you. And this is a big betrayal to the founders of this country, the likes of Mau Mau fighters, the Mekatilili Wamenzas, the Nandi resistance movement. Before the coming of Islam and Christianity, Africa had its own system of religion and divinity. The same stupid was brought to this continent by Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, the president of Ghana, former. He tried to build one of the largest cathedrals. Who told these fools that building such kind of mega infrastructure is a sign of development, or it's a key performance indicator for development? Where did you see Mwai Kibaki ashaijenga kanisa kama hii? Have you ever seen even our former president Mwai Kibaki donating? Have you ever seen him donating any kind of money to the churches? Yes, these religious leaders could be invited, but Kibaki never tolerated any kind of this shit because he believed religion is the key. I mean, economics is the key. Hatukatai, tuko na dini, tuko na system zetu. But William Ruto, we know where you are headed. It's not in the constitution, but State House, as Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere said, is mahali patakatifu. There are Kenyans who are Muslims. There are Kenyans who are atheists. There are Kenyans who are traditionalists. They believe in their own African system of divinity. So how are you going to convince me now the Kenyans are going to look at that State House as a symbol of national unity from now on? You know, we are just investing energies in wrong places. William Samoei Ruto, okay, you will go to heaven. You will corrupt your way into getting into heaven. But a church is not what we need right now. 1.2 billion Kenya shillings, while this country is suffering from aspect of unaffordability of the healthcare, unaffordability of our education system, unaffordability of our justice system. This is the slap in the face. And I know some fools by the name of the Kenyan parliament will bring some religion debates into the house and they will pass this. They are not even going to be consulted. This is where we are headed as a country. Religion is a good thing, but it is not what we need to develop, honestly. I'm a Muslim, fine. I can use it to improve my strength, my motivation, and my values, but I don't think I can use it for my development. Because technological advancement, science, technology, artificial intelligence has nothing to do with religion. Kibaki knew that very well. We need to separate religion and the state. The state is here to serve the people. It is here to work for the people's budget and expenditure. Religion has nothing to do with it. Kwani hakuna mtu hana kanisa kwao? Kila mtu akona kanisa kwao. It's a matter of the heart. It's a very personal matter, William Samoei Ruto. And whatever you are going to do there, I don't even see the religious aspect of that. I'm not convinced. I know you are going to use that 8,000 capacity charge to campaign for your 2027 bid. Wakenya, William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto is here to tell us, actually he's not phased. And he's here to tell us that he is here to stay in the State House. Because you can't build such kind of investment. What if, you never know what happens in Kenya in the next 20, 50, 30 years. Maybe one day it will come. A Kenyan who doesn't believe in any religion will become the president. Or a Muslim becomes the president. Or a Taita or Andorobo or somebody who has traditional systems of belief will become the president. Does it mean now they are going to build also their places of divinity for the same? Tunawaona sana. Tumakinike wa Kenya.
This can't be real. Hebu look at this headline. Wacha tu nikuulize Rosafi, kwani rada za Kasongo ni gani? Mbona sielewi huyu msee? Huyu jamaa kwani anataka aje? Huyu niga kwa aje man? Na sasa if he's building a church inside the grounds of State House, is that grabbing land from Kenya? Is this a crime? This has to be a crime, right? Because that's not his land. Anajengaje church? Ama hizi ndo pesa za renovations zenye haziishangi. Is this story real? If this story is real, this is mad.
If by now you are still supporting RUTO and you think given time RUTO can change this country, hebu fanya kichwa yako hivi. Every year RUTO huwa anaweka aside billions za kurenovate State House. Akatoa ile roof ya kitambo, akaweka flat roof. Akatoa ile rami ilikuwa, akaweka cabros. Akaona cabros si mzuri, akatoa tena, akaweka tena ile rami ilikuwaga. Sasa RUTO is building a church 1.2 billion. Kanisa State House ya worth 1.2 billion. Hiyo church inakaaje? Kanisa ya 1.2 billion. Because this guy is eating our country. Na ni kama nyinyi wengine mumerogwa. It's like you people are mad. You can't see this guy is taking our country to a place we will never come back. What is wrong with you people? Do you imagine a person building a church 1.2 billion? Anakata funding ya education. Anakata capitation. There are no vaccines in our hospitals. Business are going down. We only have 600 billion for development. Hakuna pesa ingine nda expenditure zingine kwa mifuko za watu. And you are there, sitting down, saying two-term, like an idiot. Ukiambia watu, oh, give RUTO time, he will change Kenya. Ukikulaga hizo propaganda zao za ufala, at RUTO has done more than Kibaki in 10 years, than Uhuru in 10 years. Are you mad? Can you be able to show one thing that RUTO has done? One. My friend, there is no church inatengenezo ya 1.2 billion. Nizo pesa ziwekwe kando, zikuliwe. These people, they must be building some wealth somewhere in other countries. Ndio hii country kienda chini, watoke na watoto wao. This is the only country we have. And if you are still supporting RUTO, there's something wrong with you. Wewe ndio kichwamba. There's something wrong with you. Or you think he can change this country. There's something wrong with you. This guy hata you want munasema, my friend, is too much for him. Because mi sioni kitu atabadilisha in the next 2 years. Kama sasa saizi tumefika, a guy is putting aside 1.2 billion ya kujenga kanisa. Kenya is not even a Christian country. It's a secular state. Whereby wewe unaweza kuwa Muslim, unaweza kuwa Christian, unaweza enda Buddha, unaweza enda Hinduism. We are a secular state. Unaweka 1.2 billion kutengeneza kanisa. Hiyo ni kanisa inakaa aje unatengeneza? Surely. Na hamkasiriki.
Revealed RUTO's 1.2 billion shilling church at State House.
What?
Yep. Controversy. According to recent satellite imagery, the building is already coming up near the presidential helipads. President William Ruto is quietly overseeing the construction of a massive church within the grounds of State House, Nairobi, in a move that raises questions on the constitutional separation between church and state. Nation has seen detailed architectural designs and drawings of the imposing structure that is expected to have a sitting capacity of 8,000 and cost
8,
hundreds of millions. Yes.
8,000.
Like the prosperity gospel churches of the 90s. 8,000. I don't know if we need to belabor what the issue is here. Let's start with
just read the story.
I read the story before I bring the issues.
Sisi tunataka hii kanisa iko wapi? Pastor ni nani?
Okay.
What denomination is
that
it?
story is on page 2 and 3. It says that we've talked about that headline. It says, as the towering cathedral rises on the House of the Hill, questions about the constitution that separates church and state. AMID fears that public institutions are being turned into personal pulpits, and how far RUTO is willing to merge faith and governance. So, as we said, Nation has seen detailed architectural designs, and that the estimated cost of this seating capacity of 8,000 is 1.2 billion. It's not clear if the cost will be met by the taxpayer. The cathedral-like building, designed by Scare, I believe, Architects Limited, features twin crosses on its rooftop and a tall, narrow cluster-style windows flanking the central edifice. It says that Nation sought to establish the rationale, constitutionality, and total cost. It goes on again to say that President Ruto had previously stated publicly his intention to build a church to underscore his Christian They talk about how in his Karen residence, it used to host religious leaders while campaigning for the top seat in 2022. At the time, he dismissed critics and vowed to construct an even larger one if elected. So, red flags, guys. They were there. They were there.
Earlier this year, during a church service in Dagoretti, Nairobi, he has said, "There's a special field that I am working on, specifically meant for people who pray, those who preach." He said this on the 11th of January during a service at the United Pentecostal Church of Kenya in Dagoretti North. "I want you, the clergy, to come and bless that field once it's ready. I'll invite you so that we can talk." The architect on record is Scare Architects, and the Nation reached out to them for comment regarding the status of the project. At first, the architect denied undertaking any construction at State House. When presented with images and designs of the building showing that the company is in charge, the architect questioned why Nation believed the structure was at State House. He later hurled insults, stating that Nation should stop bothering them about this project. Subsequent phone calls, texts, email reminders went unanswered. The church's design adopts a monumental neoclassical modern hybrid style, like he told us. Inside the church, 4 rows of main sanctuary seating with capacity for up to 8,000 worshippers, multiple entry points, storage rooms, toilets, and circulation corridors are incorporated for crowd control. There are 2 prayer rooms on each side of the main auditorium and various auxiliary rooms. You know, there's a book in the Bible that describes when God was giving the design of the temple that was to be built by Solomon. It talks about, it goes into great detail of where. Sounds like this is what I'm reading here. The vertical structure has 2 main levels, the sanctuary floor and 2 upper seating galleries. The galleries are laid out in a circular auditorium design in an amphitheater format to ensure visibility of the pulpit. The interior also includes 4 individual prayer rooms and 1 large family room. An exterior view of the church at night features LED lights at the entrance and a large see-through glass doorway.
Okay, there is no church big enough that can absolve the issues that are happening in the country. Ata ukijenga the size of 17 hotels, it does not diminish the issues that need to be addressed. Number 1. Number 2, we really, really need to start separating state and church because it's a weaponization. I think it's also an infringement on other people's religious beliefs because you're platforming and centering one over the other. And number 3, it just gives God-like demigod posturing. I will have the biggest house, 1.2 billion. Then I'll also renovate State House. I'm just going to use billions. It's okay. Yo mambo ya capitation. Tutaisort baadaye. Yo mambo ya sha. Mnaongea sana. Si tutakam. Let's first build this massive church. Then we'll be able to help you. We'll pray. And I always say it's a delicate personal thing. Prayer is powerful, but the weaponization of it is what really gets to me. Yeah.
Couldn't have put it better. No, I'll just leave it at that. Honestly,
This is shocking.
Mariam has no Latif is just like, what is going on?
Where is 1.2 billion shillings to build this church coming from? Is it coming from taxpayer money? If not,
Listen,
where?
State House is not private property.
Yes.
If it was not coming from taxpayers, then we'd have to question how private money goes into public property.
Yep.
Okay. So that's number 1. So the easiest route is just for you to assume that the money being spent in this public property is public money. Okay. Because anything else now there, we've gone left.
I'm telling you, there's nothing more dangerous than people who center themselves above the institutions. And even as, again, S went wrong, username says, no, Paul Minor says, State House is public residence, just to your point. And he says, so what happens if the president, after RUTO, is Muslim? Anajenga msikiti.
Then the next one is a Hindu, then he
so
builds
he
a
built
temple, and so on and so on.
Or is this a multi-faith place of worship?
It doesn't give multi-faith. Maybe that's an assumption, but it doesn't.
It has 2 crosses at the top.
Yeah, because most of these places have chapels.
Yes.
That's sufficient. You have a chapel within.
And a prayer room.
And a prayer room in case you have your Muslim brothers and sisters.
And you're good.
Those are sufficient. You have rooms. You don't need 8,000 seating capacity to prove what? To prove your faith.
I know. What are the other headlines?
In a jam. Pole
What,
sana.
what else is in the Daily Nation
Samahani. It's one big story.
Sometimes you think you know everything that's going on, but there's always just something. There's always something.
There's always something new.
Someone remind the president that building a church in State House will not end his problems, will not end the anger that Kenyans have, will not end the frustrations that Kenyans are venting out. The only thing that will end that anger and the only thing that will end his problems is for him to start listening to Kenyans, is for him to make sure that the 60 Kenyans who died get justice, to make sure that he solves the wastage in government, all these big allowances that we see politicians giving themselves and those in the civil service giving themselves, to end, to make sure that Kenyans feel heard. He makes sure that the people around him speak to Kenyans with respect and dignity. Si story ya kuissue orders of shoot to kill, kutuambia mtadu, kutuita digital anchors. Apana, I make sure that leaders have respect for the Kenyan people. I make sure that he solves corruption in government. Hii corruption yote tunasikia sijui 104 billion za SHA, hiyo story yote imeisha. That is the only thing that will solve his problems. Hii kanisa hata ajenge makanisa 10 State House bana, hakuna kitu itamsaidia.
Fellow Kenyans, good morning. Meamua kuwaita kamkutano ili tukasirike sisi wote saa hii asubuhi. Kenya saa hii ukiamka tu kuna mambo ambayo hayaendi salama na lazima ya kukasirishe tu. Hata ukijaribu lazima ya kukasirishe. So today Daily Nations imekuja tena. After jana yani juzi kutuonyesha mambo ambayo SHA haifanyi. Leo tena imekuja na mengine ya State House. You heard me, State House. They are planning they are building a church yenye imegharimu 1.2 billion. You heard me, they are building a church yenye imegharimu 1.2 billion. You heard me, 1.2 billion. Si millions, billion. Unajua billion ni nini? Billion ambayo ingelipa madaktari, ambayo ingelipa walimu, you know the conditions of our classes and the healthy system. So unajua saa hii mambo si mazuri kwa hata uliona walikata mambo ya funding system kwa education. So our president aliona education si sana, education haina maana because mambo ya education hata ukisoma haitakupeleka mbinguni. Mungu anahitaji pesa pia, so lazima tujengee Mungu. Ukiwa mgonjwa si utaenda State House uombe, na ikiwa watoto wako wanataka kusoma, you can go to State House uombe kwa kanisa la 1.2 billion and you will go to heaven without kujisumbua tu mambo ya bure. Na ikiwa unataka barabara, hizi barabara ambazo mnalia mjengewe, you can go to State House uombe kwa kanisa la 1.2 billion and barabara itakuwa okay. Now 1.2 billion 1.2 billion my friend. Mimi nimechoka jamani. Wauze tu Kenya mahali imefikia.
Hii Kenya ni kuisha tunaisha. Yani President William Ruto is building a church in State House. Na hii itakuwa worth 1.2 billion. Na ishaanza, lakini Kenya hakuna pesa. Hakuna pesa ya kulipa walimu, hakuna pesa ya kulipa madaktari, hakuna pesa ya other projects. Lakini kuna kanisa ya 1.2 billion Kenya shillings. My friend, ndio maana huyu jamaa hataki tu visit.